First, the top news headlines. The Ministry of Home Affairs Committee on AFSPA withdrawal from Nagaland misses report submission deadline. India reports 15,102 new COVID infections. Positivity drops to 1.28%. And satellite pics shows Russian forces just 20 km from Ukraine. Field to hospitals up. Hello, good afternoon and welcome. This is ELITETV and I'm Hemabati bringing you the 3 p.m. English news and updates. Before giving you the news, we request you to follow the SOP given by the government. Wear face masks when out in public, wash hands regularly and maintain a minimum of 6 feet between one person and another. ELITETV requests you to get vaccinated in time to protect ourselves from this virus and play our part in the fight against COVID-19. Now the news in detail. The Ministry of Home Affairs Committee constituted to recommend measures for withdrawal of Armed Forces Special Powers Act from Nagaland has missed a deadline for submission of its report. The Ministry of Home Affairs Committee, which was constituted in December last year, was supposed to submit its report of recommendations within 45 days. Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio had earlier claimed that the committee needed to submit its report of recommendations within 45 days by February 9. However, the Hindu reported that it has accessed the Ministry of Home Affairs order stating that the committee is to make suitable recommendations within 3 months, March 26. According to the report, NPF leader T.R. Zeliang informed that the committee has sought an extension for 3 months. There has been rising demand for withdrawal of AFSPA from Nagaland and the Northeast as a whole following the December 4 killing of civilians by security forces in Nagaland's Mon district. At least 13 civilians were gunned down by commandos of the 21 Para Special Forces of the Indian Army on December 4 in a botched counter-insurgency operations. The rising demand for withdrawal of AFSPA from Nagaland compelled the centre to constitute a committee to make recommendations. A flag hoisting ceremony of BJP candidate for Thongju Assembly constituency and also the Works and Power Minister Thongam Biswajit Singh was held at his residence at Thongju Ningom Thonggao today in connection with the coming 12th Manipur Legislative Assembly election 2022. The flag hoisting of BJP candidate Thongam Biswajit Singh was attended by BJP Manipur Pradesh State President A. Sarda Devi, union ministers and other key members of BJP. Supporters of Thongam Biswajit from different areas of Thongju AC also brought various offerings, showing their support to the minister Biswajit during the occasion. Meanwhile, the Thongju Local Council of Communist Party of India in its executive meeting has decided to support and work for the success of Indian National Congress candidate Seram Niken Singh. Thongju Local Council of Communist Party of India in a press release stated that the Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee has also made alliance with CPI, Manipur State Council in the ensuing State Assembly election. Therefore, all members of Thongju Local Council will support Seram Niken Singh of Thongju Assembly constituency, the release added. In connection with the ensuing State Assembly election 2022, Systematic Voters Education and Electoral Participation Program SVEEP was held at Jafo Bazaar, Part 1A, Chandel, under the supervision of SVEEP Nodal Officer. As 41 Chandal and 42 Technopole Assembly constituencies are going to poll on 5th March 2022 in the second phase of the State Assembly election 2022, intensive SVEEP awareness campaigns are being taken up with an aim to increase voter turnout as being done in different parts of the state. It can be mentioned that as part of the mission 300 SVEEP plan of the CEO, Manipur 300 polling stations with the lowest voter turnout in the 2017 Assembly election from across the state were identified with an aim to improve voter turnout in the ensuing 2022 election, stated on a press release issued by Office of the District Information Officer, Chandal. Now before we move on, it's time for a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Adom, isagi weight maintain tawduna thambiningbra. Anemia nabadagi ngakthokningbra. Chaba tumdabagi problem su leheningdabra. Tamthiraba laina cancer dagi su ngakthokduna thambiningbra. Yes, adu oiba tarabadi supnagi solution ama khaktang le. Kachai gi champra. Araiba nate kachai gi champra. Top magul kya chenba, medicinal value kya yauraba. Government of India ki Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade ki GI Tech tauraba kachai gi organic champrani. Chapmana na GI Tech phanglaba Tamenglong gi komla amasung GI Tech phanglaba sirara khongi morok pusu sizinabiu. Manipur Organic Mission Agency gi makhada Department of Horticulture Government of Manipur gi guideline makhada chemical fertilizer natraga pesticides na chingba amata sizinadana Organic oina puthokchaba kachagi champra amasung tamenglonggi komlabusu sizinabiu chabiu. Laumi singi humang mamal hanjan hanbiu adongi hakchang phana thambiu. Manipur Organic Mission Agency na manage tauba Department of Horticulture Government of Manipur Sanjen Thongi Organic Outlet tagi tasengba kachagi organic champra tamenglong kangpokpi frazolgi komlasing amasung Manipur gi mafam kayadagi puthokpa organic oiba potlamsing mafam sida phangbigani. Hakchangi Sida Hidani. Stay healthy, stay organic.
I koi bot bigani. Adu ban blockade ki amma mamanakta langsil namba kangbu da nate. Ban blockade lehenda ba kangbu da bigani. Haujukti oi thoklam da ba mayama ma oi thoklagani. BJP le badi thajabale.
Thambal gi markada namlasi BJP bu mai pakhalasi.
Inama. Oh, sole. Wathadaba madam yaure ahanba wathadaba se yamna maru oi kari khali as fattaba candidate amada vote pirudo soru vote puthadaba na fareda kanana akhoi gi jingsida football stadium sarambage kanana ne ima ge thel sagi kanana akhoi gi jingsida thakna na bai ising purak bi khige kanana go to village amadi go to hills hauto khibano hoi ina maning sing cabinet meeting fau ching da pangthokhi ching da su tam da su BJP la adi shanti oi di soidrene aduna yaroi ne akhoi setlaga ne bodo BJP da thadarase aduga ne Manipur da thambal sathalase sathanradi kaino inama tung koina nungsi janana leminaba BJP na lepli
Mangjil thaba Manipur Nipal tangdaba Manipur BJP ga loinana thambal gi markada namlasi BJP bu mai pakhalasi.
Welcome back. More news and updates. India reported 15,102 new coronavirus infections in the last 24 hours, taking the total tally of COVID-19 cases to 4,28,67,031, while the active cases declined to 1,64,522, according to the Union Health Ministry data updated today. The death count climbed to 5,12,622 with 278 fresh fatalities, the data updated today. The daily COVID-19 cases have remained below 1 lakh for 17 consecutive days. The active case comprises 0.38% of the total infections, while the national COVID-19 recovery rate has further improved to 98.42%, the Health Ministry said. A reduction of 16,553 cases has been recorded in the active COVID-19 caseload in a span of 24 hours. India's COVID-19 tally had crossed the 20 lakh mark on August 7, 2020, 30 lakh on August 23, 40 lakh on September 5, and 50 lakh on September 16. It went past 60 lakh on September 28, 70 lakh on October 11, crossed 80 lakh on October 29, 90 lakh on November 20, and surpassed 1 crore mark on December 19. India crossed the grim milestone of 2 crore on May 4 and 3 crore on June 23 last year. India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 176 crore 19 lakh. More than 33 lakh 84,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. Satellite images show new deployment of the Russian military in areas near the Ukrainian border amid fears that Russia is about to invade Ukraine. Yesterday, the Russian parliament voted to allow President Vladimir Putin to use the army outside the country to support separatists in Ukraine. The pictures collected by Maxar over the past 24 hours show deployment and movement of additional logistics and supplies in southern Belarus and at multiple sites in western Russia near the Ukrainian border. The new activity includes more than 100 vehicles and dozens of troop tents at a small airfield near Mozyr in southern Belarus. The airfield is located less than 40 kilometers from the Ukraine border. A large area is being cleared for additional deployment near Bochep in western Russia. A new field hospital has been set up at a military garrison on the western outskirts of Belgorod. Several new troops and equipment have been deployed in rural areas southwest of Belgorod, less than 20 kilometers from the Ukraine border. Heavy equipment transporters, HETS, which are used for transporting tanks, artillery and heavy equipment, were seen approximately 40 kilometers to the east of the border with Ukraine. Russia has placed more than 150,000 troops near Ukraine's borders in recent weeks. The United States and Western allies have estimated, with Washington warning an invasion is imminent. In response, several countries, including the US, have imposed sanctions on Russia. The US is also sending its troops into NATO member nations in Eastern Europe. Russia denies it has plans to attack its western neighbor, but is seeking a guarantee that Ukraine will never join NATO and that the Western alliance remove forces from Eastern Europe. For ELITETV News Channel, contact to the email address info@elitetv.in or call 9402890982 and subscribe to ELITETV YouTube channel or follow on Facebook page, Instagram and Twitter for more information about the channel. Now, before we wind up for this afternoon, let's have a quick look at the headlines once again. The Ministry of Home Affairs Committee on AFSPA withdrawal from Nagaland misses report submission deadline. India reports 15,102 new COVID infections. Positivity drops to 1.28%. And satellite pics shows Russian forces just 20 kilometers from Ukraine. Field hospitals up. Now that's all for the 3 p.m. English news and updates. We'll be back with more at 6 in the evening. Till then, thank you for tuning in. Have a good day.